Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. It is Friday, November 4th, 2016, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Here's what's coming up tonight.
Tonight, just when you thought the election couldn't get any crazier, WikiLeaks drops the biggest bombshell yet. Spirit cooking. The Clinton campaign chairman involved in a bizarre occultic ritual. Meanwhile, a new lawsuit reveals how Bill Clinton took multiple trips aboard the Lolita Express to Pedophile Island. And it looks like Hillary Clinton went there too. Then, the NYPD is ready to make arrest in the Anthony Weiner case. But first, they'll have to get past the DOJ. All that plus a look at what to expect on Election Day, our last chance to save the Republic.
Well, without a doubt, we woke up to the most bizarre WikiLeaks revelation to date. The Clinton campaign chairman, John Podesta, was invited to a spirit cooking dinner. Now, spirit cooking dinner, this is a cult black magic practice founded by Aleister Crowley, famous Satanist Aleister Crowley. And this woman, she's an artist. She's a performance artist, does these really bizarre rituals where the recipe calls for menstrual blood, semen, and breast milk. This
basically, I'm a
this is what's on the menu.
Creature that wants to serve Satan, and he's talking to her like they're dear loves, and he's been in these before, and she has a menu of the different bloods, and
there's videos of this woman
totally bizarro
sitting here, pulling her shirt up, getting a razor blade and carving a pentagram into her stomach with the blood dripping on TED Talk, calling this art. That's not art.
You don't get it. It's art.
Well, the issue here is we've always known this is going on. This is what our intel keeps bringing us about who these people are. And this is groups now connected in to Haiti and what Bill Clinton's pushing, what he's talking about. We've got Jerry Epstein and his island, which is the big news that listeners pointed out. You go to the island he admittedly owns, even though he's already served prison time. It's got a weird temple on it.
Yeah, it's got this Egyptian temple. It's got a golden dome with, of course, an owl statue up at the top, which is Molech there. Just like, why do you got to go to Bohemian Grove when you can just go to Lolita Island, the sex slave orgy island with Jeffrey Epstein, which Bill Clinton on record went there at least 20 times.
And Hillary Clinton 6 times.
Yeah.
And look, Bill Clinton wrote a book admitting he's into voodoo. And I'm not getting Drudge wrong. I mean, it's a good headline, but Wiccan. Wicca is just kind of the modern popular term for this, or anybody that isn't a Christian. No, most people that are into Wicca are not into this stuff. This is classic black magic, Aleister Crowley level stuff. Podesta practices occult magic. Drudge has that part right. This is crazy.
It's very bizarre. And then we have this flashback. Adon Salazar put the flashback. Now, you remember Guccifer was one of the first people who exposed that Hillary Clinton was working with his private server. He was able to hack in. And, of course,
she's a goddess of the occult.
Extradited to the U.S. And a handwritten letter he sends out basically saying that he failed in his job as Guccifer. And the one thing he really wanted to do was to fully expose the Illuminati, the council, and their crimes. And he says, Hillary Rodham Diane Clinton is one of the high priests, a goddess of this occult, satanic shadow group.
They're called Mothers of Darkness.
And at the time, people were like, well, okay, he's gone crazy.
Well, there's the headline. Hillary Clinton is a high priestess of Satanism.
Yes.
And there's your headline. And then you were discovering with listeners, and I looked it up, it's there. It's the island he owns. Let's talk about that. I mean, this is crazy.
Yes. It is Orgy Island. It's called Little St. James Island. And people like Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, Prince Andrew. It's pretty much like Eyes Wide Shut. Tom Cruise happening right there. Look at that. Look at this building. It looks like some kind of Egyptian.
And this is the island he owns.
This is it's like an Egyptian church, basically. Yeah, yes. And then it's got this owl statue on the top. There are other pictures where you can sort of see from up above. It appears as if it has an underground passageway. And this is on the other side of the island. Most of the pictures that they'll show you from Jeffrey Epstein's Orgy Island, where he held sex slaves, it's way across the other end of the island.
And he's been convicted. I mean, this has come out.
Yeah, so this is legit.
So back in 2005, police conducted an 11-month-long undercover investigation on Jeffrey Epstein and his estate after the mother of a 14-year-old girl went to police after suspecting her daughter was paid $300 for at least one sexual act on the island in which she was ordered to strip, leaving on just her panties while giving Epstein a massage.
Right.
But that's just one case that's been brought forward. You've got Bill Clinton going there 20 times, Hillary Clinton 6 times. We see how Hillary Clinton looks at women. Wonder how she looks at the even younger women.
Right.
It's completely and totally out of this world.
Well,
I don't have a child yet. But
Clinton also flies on this plane to the Sheikh's castle in the Middle East, who is an admitted pedophile. So this is going on. They've got a weird temple out there. You've got them involved in all these other satanic rituals. And what WikiLeaks keeps saying is, if you don't back down, Hillary, we're going to release even more. So that's the big story. What's coming next?
Right. And well, I also, you know, I think it's key, of course, that we had Steve Pieczenik on the show for first time in 25 years. He actually comes out on video saying, look, there's an internal coup against Hillary Clinton going on, and we were the ones that handed over these documents to WikiLeaks because we want to expose what's going on. And frankly, I believe this is why it was Podesta's emails that got leaked, not, say, Robbie Mook or Cheryl Mills. Podesta, because they knew that he was the top dog, that they could help to take down this huge ring if people could just somehow connect the dots. And, you know,
let's explain. Why are they historically involved in Satanism and illegal stuff? Because just like a local gang will have you go, you know, shoot a bank teller or shoot some lady at the liquor store, it's so they have dirt on you. You've proven you're bad. And so that's why pedophilia and Satanism keeps coming up, because this is how they compromise you when you enter the cult.
Exactly. Well, Rob Dew actually pointed out how Lady Gaga, before she had her meteoric rise to fame, she was the backup dancer for this other young teenage success. And mysteriously, this girl was dancing happy, and then an hour later, she flung herself from the rooftop. And then immediately after that, Lady Gaga, her backup dancer, launches into
Who
this
is
thing.
best buddies with this high priestess?
Loves this high priestess, who we have a photograph of her where she's scooping blood-like coagulated syrup off of a naked corpse.
Dead body, yeah.
Yeah, I watched a video where the two of them were doing this weird, like, yoga stuff, you know, stripping their clothes off in rivers, posing with giant crystals, sprinkling crystals all over their body.
And by the way, you're lucky we're not showing you the footage of effigies of babies dumping blood on top of them. I mean, I don't want to show too much. Yeah, let's show some of it on screen. I
mean, this is the
least graphic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can basically just Google spirit cooking. And so this woman, Marina Abramovic, I'm not saying her name right, but she also wrote this cookbook with all of these occult recipes so that you can practice these sex cult rituals. She explains how if they're done inside of an art studio, then it's art. If it's in an art gallery, like the B-roll we have showing you where they're throwing this blood everywhere, you know, you have to stab yourself in the hand and eat the pain and stuff. She goes on to say that if it's in an art gallery, it's art. But if it's at a private dinner party, like what Podestas have been invited to, then it's an actual ritual taking place.
Look at this woman with her stupid goat head. I mean, give me a break.
Well, the thing that's really crazy as well, I mean, this woman is almost 70 years old.
They're worshiping her.
She looks damn good for her age, which just is, to me, we're always joking about Hillary Clinton going and get babies' blood transfusions. And
well, no, the Queen of England and her mother do get the children's blood transfusions, and they found all these dead bodies on their property. Jimmy Savile. I mean, this is what's going on at the heart of it.
It makes you wonder what's going on with all those Planned Parenthood baby parts. Right. You know, what were they doing with those? Who was buying those?
Well, they admit they even keep babies alive sometimes before they harvest them.
Well, the thing that's really interesting, I know, I believe that you did a video earlier, Biggs, about the 3 young children that were promised as entertainment. They'd be there in the hot tub. And it was this woman emailing, and it was her children.
Yes, offering her children up to Podesta and his other male companions. Says these 3 children will be Ubered in. There will be a pool. We're heating it. They are there for your entertainment.
Right.
Yeah, talk about where this is from.
11, 7.
As more of this comes out, we have little kids for you. Tell them.
Yeah, so they're inviting these kids. They're letting Podesta know.
Tell folks
this is on WikiLeaks. You can find it on WikiLeaks. You can go to my Twitter. I tweeted out the link. All that. It is easy to find. And this is...
Meanwhile, they make a man saying to a woman, I think you're beautiful, rape.
Right.
They make normal behavior.
That's terrible, but we can do blood occult rituals.
We can say, we got little kids in a hot tub for you.
Trump says mean things, but it's okay for Hillary Clinton, John Podesta on the swim in a hot tub with an 11-year-old. It was an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 7-year-old
It's not like he's over and your kids are in the pool. They're saying, we have little kids for you.
No, Well, yeah, it's like the letter is all like, oh, you know, we're gonna have our thing, talk about business. By the way, we're gonna heat up the hot tub this year, and
by the way, this spirit cooking though is it's the #1 trend on the web.
They cannot.
At least 2 hours ago, it was #1.
It's been top trend all day. I mean, and
what are they gonna do now?
The thing that's so
I mean, they're like weirdo creeps with. Are the children in the hot tub? It's like, I'm liberal. Are the children in the hot tub?
If you go up on the Twitter right there.
But will there be children there in the hot tub?
It's like normal guys like, are there hot chicks in the hot tub? It's like,
Brittany.
what the hell? That's bad though.
Yeah.
That's sexy.
So let's open up the email. Brittany Pettibone right here, the WikiLeaks email. Pull that up. That's the one right there. And it talks about with enormous gratitude going, and it talks about how there's an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 7-year-old who are going to be in the pool.
So you'll have
them for further entertainment.
And they will be
We got to shoot a whole other live video because I didn't even know this was out. Podesta's in emails being promised children. Gee, I mean, good Lord.
And the thing that's interesting is if you look this woman's name up in the other WikiLeaks emails, the only other thing she's talking about is Cecile Richards of Planned Parenthood and how Hillary Clinton should reach out to Cecile Richards. So it's like they're all in this together.
That's what's sick is we've known. I don't just make this up. People ask, how do you keep predicting it? I'm not predicting it. We've got law enforcement sources, historical sources. I'm not making up all this craziness that ends up being true.
Well, it's like a puzzle.
It's like they're doing it.
It's like when
I didn't come up with any of this.
It's like
I'd love to have the frickin' credit. I didn't, Joe.
Well, it's like when someone hands you a box with no picture on it. It's a puzzle. And you start putting enough pieces together, you might not have the whole picture, but you can sit back and look and see what's going to happen next. You can make that picture out in your head and figure out what's going to happen and what you're going to see. And that's all it is. Here we do investigative journalism. We sit back, we look at information, we piece it together for people to understand. And then eventually at some point in time, it starts to click. You're like, wait, this is what the whole picture is going to turn out to be.
It's a bunch of Satanists raping kids.
And that's why people are still trying to comb through these emails looking for the code words, code language. Because
the feds are saying, notice we had guests on last week, this week, before it came out about the NYPD and all this coming out. Now it's coming out. And they said, look, it's kids, it's Satanism. And I know all this. I'm even going, maybe we shouldn't say Satanism on air. That sounds crazy. Because I did that 2 days ago.
Well, last night when I was reading it, I was kind of scared. I was like, if I post a video about this right now, people are going to think I'm nuts.
Right. I was
apprehensive.
No, I know all this stuff, and I'm telling people, go slow. No.
It's just like they just open the floodgates, and that's what Pachenik was saying the night before he came on the show and spoke with you in his videos. He was just like, here it is. We're laying it all out. For the first time, they've given me permission to speak out, and that's what I'm doing on camera.
By the way, he's on Sunday. I talked to him today. He wasn't on today, but something happened. He's on Sunday in the second hour, and he said, you're dead on with Hillary, and that's why they're all so upset with her. I mean, this is look at these frickin' women.
But you see
look at this demon woman. It says 4 hours ago. Go up there. This creepazoid woman. It's some weird-ass hag.
4 hours.
The all-white
top
paint.
middle.
No, the top. Yeah, the 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break, dude. This is who runs our country.
You can see she has like a milk jug, and it has like human parts, like livers and stuff, and she's sitting there chunking it out against the wall. And there's this weird black and white footage of this woman right here where she has snakes crawling all over her head. She strips her clothes off, lays on a table, and starts screaming, ah, ah, and it goes on for 30 minutes.
Wow. And the thing that's really key that people need to understand is that this has been the top trending thing all day, #1 story.
I knew. I told her, I woke up at 4 a.m. before this even broke. I said, something's going on. I feel the energy. And now it's here. This is going to bring them down because, remember, I told people how the Secret Service and FBI think they're satanic. It's in the London Guardian that, quote, the FBI thinks she's the Antichrist, literally. And the agents are all freaked out, don't want to be around her. It's because I've talked to them. You have too. They're like, listen, they wouldn't even tell us. They go, just, they're very dangerous. And we're like, what is this? It's worse than you know, please. We can't. What happens? Linda Blair. And we're like, what? Just warn everyone. I mean, we're like, what's going on? They're like, it's bad, I mean, bad. What the hell, dude? They won't even tell us, man. The scary grown men start shaking.
Well, they probably feel like they're telling us this.
Yeah, but you were there with the Secret Service
but this is the odd
How freaked out was the Secret Service in July?
I would say jittery, shaking. Because
Secret Service, shaking.
But you know this, when these people are so satanic, they are so evil. There's no end to their corruption, to what they're willing to do. I mean, look at this. Comey had every reason laid out why she should be indicted.
They were threatening all their families.
Yes, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, Who's to say that they wouldn't do that as well if their family, their children, all that?
But they should know the threats didn't work. People went, okay, and then went super.
Thank God the NYPD seized Weiner's laptop, made copies of those emails.
I was about to say, it was your idea in closing. They gave it to the feds. The feds did nothing. They pressured him. They were getting ready for a press conference, as we reported first 2 days ago, now confirmed by Breitbart today and Eric Prince of Blackwater. All this is coming out. Dude, the mercenaries aren't angels. They're even pissed ready to go. What does that say when Prince goes public? The globals better watch.
He's an ex-Navy SEAL.
Dude, that means they've got groups on standby right now. They try to take this country.
Well, they don't want...
What does that signify?
This is the thing, though. The NYPD, you should have nothing to fear. You release this information. Screw what the FBI is doing. Screw what James Comey's doing. Release that information. I guarantee you. You've seen what Donald Trump did for that homeless lady who guarded his star. Think about what it would take for the NYPD to go ahead, release that information. You're saving America. Trump will pardon all of you if the Clintons...
You don't have any future if they win. You got to be all in, and you are all in.
And all NYPD right now, if you have this information and you're in control of it, release it. Give it to WikiLeaks, give it to us, give it to somebody. Let's get it out there. Tuesday's around the corner. The fate of America is depending right now on this. This isn't just a fight for America. This is a fight against good and evil. This is a spiritual war now.
It's all down the wire.
Once you've seen how evil and occult like this whole thing is, I mean, like I said, I was reading this stuff late last night. I couldn't sleep last night. I haven't had nightmares since I got back from combat. And this stuff, I had goosebumps. I woke up in the middle of the night. I heard a creak in the hallway.
Imagine me a little kid. Hillary comes in the room. Hey, that's why I always said, like, when she's on little kids on the stage, I literally just the willies. Leanne, I know you're taking us to break. What's coming up next?
Well, and also, too, I want people to understand how incredible it is that the mainstream media is not talking about this story.
That's the big news.
They would give any chance they could to throw us under the bus and make fun of us, but they are not talking about this story because that's how huge it is.
It hit a nerve when I said they were Satanists a month ago.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, coming up, we're also going to talk. David Knight's got a great report coming up exposing how they're trying to steal the election. Stick around. That's coming right up.
And that's why they freaked out, because when I said, oh, it's coming out, you're Satanist, they tried to counter it then before the info came out.
Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, John Podesta, attends weird occult dinner parties where blood, semen and breast milk are used in ritualistic ceremonies. No, this isn't a fake news story, it's absolutely real. And there you were thinking Podesta's UFO obsession was his weirdest hobby. In an email dated June 28, 2015, performance artist Maria Abramovich wrote to Podesta's brother Tony and said, "I'm so looking forward to the spirit cooking dinner at my place. Do you think you will be able to let me know if your brother is joining?" Tony Podesta then forwarded the email to John Podesta, asking him, "Are you in NYC Thursday, July the 9th? Marina wants you to come to dinner." Here's Marina inviting Podesta directly. So what is spirit cooking? It's basically a Wiccan ceremony where blood is used to create some form of art as a sacrament to occult beliefs. This video shows Abramovich mixing together thickly congealed blood as the recipe for the painting, which is comprised of the words, "With a sharp knife cut deeply into the middle finger of your left hand, eat the pain." Spirit cooking is also an occult practice used during sex cult rituals, as explained in the book Spirit Cooking with Essential Aphrodisiac Recipes. According to Maria Abramovich, if the ritual is performed in an art gallery, it's merely art. But if the ritual is performed privately, as it was with the Podestas, then it represents an intimate spiritual ceremony. Here's Abramovich posing with a goat's head dripping in blood, a representation of the occult symbol Baphomet, which is used by numerous secret societies like Freemasonry and the Knights Templar. Here she is at a spirit cooking event with Lady Gaga, eating something with a spoon that's smeared all over the body of a mock corpse. Here she is with a pentagram carved into her stomach. But townhall.com says that all this is perfectly normal and we just all need to calm down. So how is Hillary tied to all this insane weirdness? Well, for one, Podesta is her campaign chairman and they move in the same circles. Maria Abramovich was invited to Hillary's campaign launch. And Hillary herself is also known to be into bizarre paranormal practices. Clinton used to hold seances in the White House to try and contact dead people like Eleanor Roosevelt and Mahatma Gandhi. Bill Clinton's book also talks about how him and Hillary used to participate in voodoo rituals in Haiti. Hillary's mentor is Saul Alinsky, who in his book Rules for Radicals praises Lucifer. Should it really surprise us that FBI agents refer to Hillary Clinton as the Antichrist? How did the Clinton campaign respond to the spirit cooking scandal? They blamed Vladimir Putin. Yes, they actually blamed Vladimir Putin. And if you thought that was weird enough, I haven't even talked about the accusations of child trafficking and pedophilia, which some claim is coded into the Podesta emails under the guise of types of food. This is some serious Bohemian Grove, eyes wide shut, satanic style malarkey. Would you really want these kind of people in control of the nuclear codes? So John Podesta, Hillary's top guy, likes to engage in occult rituals involving pig's blood, semen, and urine, while Donald Trump likes to eat ice cream. But according to the media, who have refused to cover this story, Donald Trump is the weird, creepy, dangerous one. So Trump talked about pussy 10 years ago, and that was a national scandal. Clinton campaign insiders involved in satanic rituals as of last year. Meh, who cares?
You know, we've had a lot of heavy news this week. We began with things like racketeering and corruption. We're ending the week with revelations about satanic connections, pedophile groups. Let's take it a little bit easy for a moment. You know, there was a story that came up on the Drudge Report, I think it was yesterday, showing this monkey choosing a presidential candidate. They had a couple of standees of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and they let the monkey pick which one as an indicator of who was going to win the election. You know, kind of like a Puxatani Phil, you know, on Groundhog Day. And when I saw it, I thought that's very interesting. But, you know, I looked at it and I thought there wasn't any explanation on the monkey. And I thought, where is this coming from? I know that I've been in Chinese restaurants, you know, the really fine restaurants where they give you a paper menu thing in front of you that's got all the different zodiac animals. There's 12 of them, like the year of the monkey, year of the dragon, year of the rabbit, that sort of thing. Then there's also some modifiers. And so they have 5 modifiers, like metal, earth, wind, fire, that type of thing. So it's actually got a 60-year cycle. We haven't had this year of the monkey, the fire monkey, since 1956. So 2016 is the year of the fire monkey. And when you look at it, it says the fire monkey is ambitious, adventurous, and irritable. I thought, oh, that's Donald Trump. Ambitious, adventurous, and irritable. But, you know, it's also kind of like maybe as in you're fired. But Hillary Clinton has got more monkeys than that on her side. You know, when Drudge linked to this story, he linked directly to Getty Images. And that link disappeared. And it actually disappeared off the Drudge Report for a while. And then it reappeared with another article. Somebody had embedded the Getty Images into their article, so he linked to that again. So this is kind of a funny story. And I thought, you know, why would they take down a link that Drudge had sent to that? All right, most people want Drudge traffic, right? But not the mainstream media if it says something positive about Donald Trump, evidently. Because, see, Donald Trump may have one monkey on his side, but Hillary Clinton's got 3 important monkeys on our side. The see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil monkeys. That's the monkeys that are on Hillary Clinton's side. And that's how they're monkeying with this election. Okay, let's take a look at the pollsters. You know, we're constantly told that Hillary Clinton has got it all sewn up. First, she had this massive lead, according to the pollsters, even though we've got all these other metrics that show that's not the case. Of course, we got the situation with the massive crowds that show up for Donald Trump's rallies. But then we have other things like this. We've got, and this was reported by CNN, first we had one high school in Minnesota, and then we had a statewide referendum, and this was actually talked about by Don Lemon and Kayleigh McEnany by talking about 77,000 high school students in Minnesota selecting Donald Trump. Now, that's significant. See, when you have high school students selecting that, that's usually representative of what they're hearing at home. It does a very good job of representing what the parents are saying, perhaps more so than these so-called scientific polls, because the scientific polls don't include the unlikely voters. See, and that's going to give us, I think, an unlikely result, but it can be stolen. But we've got all these other metrics. We've got the AI algorithm that we've reported on this last week. We've got other non-polling algorithms that look at it. And then, of course, we see the massive numbers of people switching from Democrat to Republican in places like Pennsylvania. The massive numbers of new voters, people who've never voted in their lives, all these different types of things, as well as a record number of votes for Donald Trump during the primary season, a record number of contributions under $200 for Donald Trump. Never seen that before. And, of course, the Republican establishment has not given a cent to Donald Trump. They've given $50 million to Mitt Romney, to John McCain in the last 2 presidential cycles. They gave nothing to Donald Trump, and they spent nothing to attack Hillary Clinton. Think about that for a moment. The establishment Republican Party spent $0 to attack Hillary Clinton. I think that's really a $50 million contribution to Hillary Clinton. But when we look at this, I think we see that, and of course there's also another story from Drudge about where do the pollsters and the journalists lie. Okay, we've had a lot of revelations in the last couple of weeks, going through and looking how journalists, reporters, news editors, so forth, what percentage of them are contributing to Democrats and Republicans? Well, it's about 96% contribute to the Democrats. But in this particular story that was linked by Drudge, they went through and they drilled down to the survey organizations. And guess what? We start out with Survey Monkey. There's the monkeys again, okay? NBC Survey Monkey, $0 to Trump. 96% of their contributions go to Democrat candidates, okay? The chief executive officer of Survey Monkey, $72,000 to Clinton, $30,000 to the DNC in 2016, $100,000 from their CEO. Survey Monkey's senior VP of global sales, $65,000 to Clinton, $30,000 to the DNC. Both of them, about $100,000, okay? ABC News. Okay, they've got 100% of their political contributions go to Democrat candidates. Reuters, 100% to Democrats, and so forth and so on. See, these guys are monkeying with the results. They tell us that Donald Trump doesn't have a chance. And as I pointed out before, look at the crowd situation. Hillary Clinton is getting such minuscule crowd. She's got emails talking about how if it's less than 100 people, absolutely no cameras or recording devices. Okay, that's the kind of crowds she and Bill Clinton are playing to. That's one of the key things when we had this contest of people with the Bill Clinton rape T-shirt. One of the most valuable things about that was that as these people were being taken out of the venue, the camera would pan around and you could actually see the size of the crowd that the media will not report. Just take a look at this Miami concert that we had this last week. Jennifer Lopez warming up for Hillary Clinton, and they don't say how many people are there. With Jennifer Lopez fanning her, putting her fanny out there in this suggestive pose, okay, that it would flip out the Democrats, and yet all they say is a crowd of thousands. That's the way they're monkeying with the elections.
It's also what happens when you listen to the radio host, Alex Jones, who claims that 9/11 and the Oklahoma City bombings were inside jobs.
And others who are kind of at the very fringe of the conspiracy movement, like Alex Jones, are being kind of incorporated into the campaign in ways or even the recent choices of campaign management.
The right-wing smear machine has gotten Alex Jonesified this election cycle, as we've been chronicling here. Jones is the conspiracy theorist and creator of the fringe website INFOWARS.
Do you also know that Hillary Clinton uses a wheelchair? Her personal vehicle has had to be outfitted with a wheelchair lift because she is not a person who can actually walk. She secretly uses a wheelchair. All those times you think you've seen her walking, she hasn't been walking. Did you know that?
Hillary Clinton has been on the campaign trail for 18 months. Her energy staggers me. I have a hard time keeping up with her.
The historical first in electing the first conspiracy freak president. He's not pivoting for presidential. He's pivoting to Alex Jones. He's pivoting to crazy.
Was Hillary wearing an earpiece during last night's presidential forum? That is the pilot, the captain of America's conspiracy theory mothership, Alex Jones.
You just had to keep digging, didn't you, Alex? The plan was so simple. All Hillary had to do was open a jar of pickles, and the White House would be all ours. You're going to be part of the conspiracy now. You realize that, right? I'm going to try to do my best. Alex Jones is going to be all over you. Let's see what happens. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Woke Blitzer. Oh, no. Oh, there was a cop.
They're all in on this total conspiracy theory that literally came from INFOWARS.
First of all, Hayes, I'll get you for this segment. It may take years and cost thousands of lives, but I'll get you for this.
I don't know what happens in somebody's mind or how dark their heart must be to say things like that.
The New World Order sends its regards.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation, The Alex Jones Show, because there is a war on for your mind.
And it matters because it's not just the kook fringe. It's not just the sort of remunerative conspiracy theory world of that part of the conservative media machine. It's not even just wacky people who have made their way into Republican politics at a surprising height. This is now the top of the Republican ticket.
Marina Abramovich, grandmother of the performance art movement and a modern adherent to ceremonial magic found in Aleister Crowley's religion, Thelema, wrote a very personal email to Tony Podesta, according to WikiLeaks. It reads, "Dear Tony, I am so looking forward to the spirit cooking dinner at my place. Do you think you will be able to let me know if your brother is joining?" Tony Podesta, regarded as the most powerful lobbyist in Washington, D.C., is a brother to none other than John Podesta, chairman of the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign and counselor to President Obama. That dinner Abramovich spoke of was nothing less than a Thelemic occult ritual. In spirit cooking, Marina uses pig's blood, which most resembles human blood, as a medium to connect the spirit world with the material world. The ritual takes place in the kitchen, which is considered to be the heart of the home. The goal of the ceremony is to convert matter into energy so spirits can feed on it. Marina derives her inspiration from the popular belief that spirits still need food, even though it is no longer solid but in the form of light, sound, and emotions. This simple revelation may finally pull back the curtain to the masses on the ugly truth InfoWars and others have been desperately trying to tell the masses for years. The occult is the religion of the elite. Just research the influence of Lucius Trust in the United Nations, or review the 1990 Nebraska U.S. District Court case between Paul A. Baraki versus Lawrence E. King, exposing a powerful pedophile ring linked to political figures, high-level U.S. military commanders, and the intelligence establishment. All of this overseen by Temple of Set founder and retired U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton live in this dark world. Bill Clinton wrote in his biography that the brief foray into the world of voodoo furthered his fascination with the way different cultures try to make sense of life, nature, and the virtually universal belief that there is a non-physical spirit force at work in the world. Back in September 16, 2016, Fox News posted a letter from hacker Guccifer, claiming the goal of the Guccifer project failed because he was unable to fully expose the Illuminati, the Council, and their crimes. He writes, Hillary Rodham Diane Clinton is one of the high priests, a goddess of this occult satanic shadow group. One must see their evil and profoundly corrupt nature to understand what I am talking about. Guccifer continues, so I apologize in front of the unknown soldiers who struggle to take this fight against these monsters to a glorious end. Many of them are risking their lives while doing this behind the computer screens, from inside or outside the system. And now bombshell revelations are surfacing from Anthony Weiner's recovered laptop as the New York Police Department is investigating allegations that Bill Clinton performed sexual acts on underage girls as young as 5 years old. In the coming days, right up to the election, Anthony Weiner's laptop will reveal evidence of an international child sex trafficking ring tied to Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton.
She's worked like a demon, as you know, as Secretary of State and as a senator and in the years since.
One thing about Hillary, Bill was just a good timing guy. But Hillary, she's an animal. Hillary is the one that I promise you, she pulls the strings. She pulled them in Arkansas. She pulled them in the White House when she was there as the First Lady. And my God, if she gets to be president, what you see out here now is going to change. We thought it changed with Obama. There's nothing compared to what's going to happen with Hillary.
If all of this is just a little too much, remember, Benjamin Franklin prophetically said, "Only a virtuous people are capable of freedom. As nations become corrupt and vicious, they have more need of masters." John Bound for INFOWARS.com.
Unfortunately, you've grown up hearing voices that incessantly warn of government as nothing more than some separate, sinister entity that's at the root of all our problems.
It's time to stop submitting to this tyranny. It's time to realize that we're being enslaved.
Some of these same voices also do their best to gum up the works. They'll warn that tyranny's always lurking just around the corner.
Tyranny with a capital T.
You should reject these voices.
Everything that's been done with torture, rendition, the NDAA, the Patriot Acts 1 and 2, from day one was focused on the American people, period. That's it. It's always been about erasing the Bill of Rights and Constitution and rolling out NSA spying publicly, saying it's for Al-Qaeda, rolling out torture, saying it's for Al-Qaeda, but it's really for the general public, rolling out total control and the end of any underground free market systems in the name of fighting Al-Qaeda, but really shutting down any type of free commerce. This is all about converting us from a free society to a tyranny with a capital T.
Well, we're just 4 days away from finding out who will be the new leader of the free world. Will it be Donald Trump or the Queen Demon herself? Now, everyone knows this has been a hotly contested election cycle. And of course, it wouldn't be complete without a little bit of fear-mongering up till the last minute. So now we have U.S. intel warning of possible Al-Qaeda attacks in the U.S. on Monday. Now, these are they're still being assessed. They haven't been confirmed, but they're saying New York, Texas, and Virginia are all possible targets. No specific locations are mentioned. So just throwing it out there, no specifics, possibility there could be some terror attacks from Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda, what rock did they crawl out from under?
Well, Leanne, we know that we covered this on Monday on the Nightly News. Nashir Now, which is ISIS, their magazine, in French, English, and Arabic, they said anybody living in the U.S. or Western Europe, we're calling on you to shoot them in the heads, basically, I'm paraphrasing, and cut them at the neck. You are privileged. You're a privileged few. We're here from afar. You're there. And they're trying to activate these terror cells within the United States specifically. I don't think it's coincidental that it's happening around our election time. That's interesting that the fear-mongering would hit. But if this is a fake story, that's another thing.
But this is Al-Qaeda. Right. It's not. This isn't ISIS who's been putting out these active threats that we're, trying to. Why all of a sudden Al-Qaeda? Are they a little bit jealous that ISIS has kind of stolen the spotlight from them with their terror attacks? I mean, I thought that they were contained. I mean, what do you think, Owen?
Well, I think that. Well, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, ISIL, IS, they'll change the name 100 times.
The proxy army.
So, yeah, so who knows, who knows who's really, where these details are coming from. They're saying that a senior investigator with CBS, Pat Millen, has been told from his U.S. intelligence sources that the Alert Joint Terrorism Task Force has been warned that Al-Qaeda could be planning attacks in these 3 states that you mentioned. U.S. authorities are taking the threat seriously, but its credibility hasn't been confirmed. But I think obviously what we're all sitting here wondering is why the timing? Why now? Mm-hmm. Is this a fake story to drum up fear? For what reason? We can deliberate on. Is this truly radical Islamic terror trying to incite attacks on United States ground the day before the election? And then what is the reason for that? Why would they want to do that?
Fear, like maybe you won't show up at the polls if you think there's going to be a terror attack. Or, of course, maybe you're going to think, oh, well, who's going to be the one that could actually protect me, or who has dealt with Al-Qaeda before? You know,
who has armed our enemies before? That should be a question that you should be asking. Don't you just love how these stories are so intentionally vague? A counterterrorism expert. You know, we look at our politicians, they have no problem handing you the whole basket of our foreign policy, what we're going to do, especially Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump has never done that. He said, I'm not giving away our strategy. She has no problem doing that. But when it comes to specifics like this, it is so intentionally vague. One counterterrorism expert has indicated, okay, it just
hasn't been confirmed. Nothing to worry about, but you could be facing a potential terror attack.
Well, I think we got to, again, we have to find out what would the motive be? What would the motive be for terrorists to attack the day before an election? Is that trying to alter the election? What is the deal if the U.S. government is trying to fearmonger? Are they trying to get Trump supporters not to show up? I mean, what is the motive here? You know, we can sit here. Is this a real threat? Is it not? Obviously, we don't know. We don't have the intel.
We already saw what happened the last time they threatened a terror attack here in Texas. So, you know.
Didn't go too well for him, did it?
Bring it.
Mo on Labe.
Yeah, come and take it. Well, so let's kind of, moving on now, we're still kind of running through these WikiLeaks. I know that they just did even the last one. I think they just released 30 more emails today. And of course, we're going to be talking about this supposed alleged terror attack and not, of course, the freaking spirit cooking scandal the media will not tell you about, because that is just a huge demonic thing. But I love how we're learning how within the Clinton campaign, these people are just really struggling to hold this thing together. We can see everyone cracking. You put that video out with Obama totally losing it with the crowd. He has zero control over them. Nobody respects him in other countries. Leaders from other countries now, not even people at his own rally. But we have these strategists for these campaigns basically behind their back saying, here's one, with practice, Hillary will eventually sound human.
I am not so.
This Neera Tanden, she's been kind of, her emails are a little bit snippy. I wonder what kind of backlash she's gotten.
Serious.
Emails have come out.
Might get bullet.
Guys, she might sound human with practice.
With a little practice.
That's the kicker here.
She might.
So what does that mean? She's not human? Are they admitting she's not human?
Seriously.
Do we have it in the WikiLeaks? We've got everything else.
Well, that's what Alex said, Manchurian candidate.
Right. So as you all know, who've been watching us all day long, we've been knee deep in the most horrific garbage imaginable in these WikiLeaks emails involving John Podesta, sex crimes against children, these weird occultic practices. And it's so, as you put it, demonic. Alleged, pardon me, alleged.
It's
and
art.
They have names.
It's art.
It's art.
But specifically, I just want to highlight this one case because it was so incredibly hard to stomach reading it. 3 little girls were mentioned in one of these alleged emails. They were 11, 9, and 7 years old.
And they had to throw the age in there too.
Seriously.
Offered
What's up
up
with
as
that?
entertainment and underscore they will be in that pool.
Right. How disgustingly, you know, your stomach turns when you read these and you just hope and pray to God. You want these to be hacked emails. You don't want these things to be true. I mean, God forbid.
But no one is speaking out about them. Like, we always kind of look and see, have any of these outlets mentioned Alex Jones? You know, you can search through Google, whatever, to see, are they making fun of us? Are they trying to, you know, debunk some stories we're putting out there? Zero. Radio silence on this. They're putting it out there as this insane story. I actually had someone send me a message on Facebook talking about, well, you know, everyone's raised on breast milk and, you know, some people like the taste of that.
Blood.
And it's totally, blood is natural and it'll help. It's like, dude, what is wrong with you freaking lefty, insane people? Sure, if you're into that occult stuff, fine, go for it. But you don't need to be doing that in the White House.
Or, you know, the child aspect of this for me, you know, there is a special place in hell for people that harm children. I firmly believe that. And we're talking about government officials in high positions here. We're not talking about, you know, the convicted sex offender down the street. We're talking about people that hold the highest offices we have in this land, and they're accused of doing despicable things with little girls.
Right, and Alex has talked about this for years. People called him crazy, but here, lo and behold, you know, it's right there in black and white in these emails. And that's something that he's talked about, how they'll set up private cameras with a two-way mirror and then get them on camera doing things with these kids, and they can blackmail them forever. I mean, this goes so far back with the Franklin scandal. There in the New York Times when George Bush was in the White House, shipping in these underage boys for their underage call boys. I mean, this is absolutely insane. And I think it's so interesting to see this this coup that's going on, where we do have these patriot FBI agents that are saying, you know what, look, we're going to feed you the intel that you need to take this thing down. And we've got to do it before the election.
And NYPD officers, you mentioned the FBI, those men are brave. You know, they're the reason we have these stories to begin with, not the WikiLeaks dump, but the emails pertaining to Huma Abedin, her husband, her rotten egg husband, and Hillary Clinton. It's the NYPD. And the word on the street, it's trending on Facebook, and I apologize, I know we weren't going to talk about this, but the DOJ supposedly has threatened the NYPD that, you know, they're going to indict related to something that isn't related to this, the death of a victim, you know, in their city, in the event that they go ahead and arrest Weiner. There seems to be an internal war going on.
Right.
And yet again,
this is the Blackwater founder speaking out, former Navy SEAL Eric Prince, saying that well-placed sources say they want to do a press conference, they're ready to press charges, make arrests. And as Joe Biggs pointed out, like Donald Trump will pardon you. I mean, it's fine. If you have the smoking gun, if you have the information that's out there, put it out there. You are saving children's lives. Not only are you saving this country.
Well, I think we may have just found the answer to the question that we posed at the beginning of the segment here. Why the timing? Why the threats of al-Qaeda? Why are they releasing this now? Why are they trying to fearmonger over terror? Oh, because we just got the emails exposing the satanic cult rituals that the Democratic Party is involved in. Shocking. This is how we tie these things together, folks. It's not a coincidence. I think the fact that they released this report on a possible terrorist attack on the eve of the WikiLeaks emails exposing the satanic occultism, which who knows how long this goes back, folks. We could be talking about centuries of this stuff going back, but now they want to distract from that with the possible terror threat.
Right. Just do your part. These people cannot remain in power. We're looking at, you know, T-minus 3 days out here. They cannot stay.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. And thank you all for tuning into the show tonight. Have a great weekend. We will see you here Monday. We're starting our epic 52-hour broadcast with the Alex Jones Show Monday.